share more on life at Lotus. Mr. Kenneth has been with Lotus since 2004 and has 20 years of experience within the commercial function and general management within the retail and FMCG businesses. So basically, a lot of experience will be shared today. I'll pass this on to Mr. Kenneth, and we'll be back later on as we answer your queries. Please, during the session as Mr. Kenneth goes through, do drop in your questions in the chat box, and we look forward to answering them. All yours, Mr. Kenneth.
Thanks for the introduction. It does make me feel a bit old, but yeah. Right. I'm here to talk to you about life at Lotus. So let's begin. Give me a second. Right, life at Lotus. What I'll do today is to cover a couple of areas, probably about 5 areas, and I'll leave one for Q&A. So I'll talk to you about who we are, our business overview, our values, a little bit on myself on career journey, and some career advice, especially for the newly graduates. Yeah, so just a little bit on myself. So where it all begins. So Lotus is actually a member of the Chuah Group, one of the world's largest conglomerate, and we have 14 business groups operating in 21 countries. In Malaysia, we currently operate 62 stores and 3 distribution centers throughout Peninsular Malaysia. Right. Now, the CP vision is actually to be a leading tech and innovative conglomerate, providing food for both body and mind that creates shared value and bring health and well-being for all. And this is actually what we stand for as in the entire group. Yeah, not just in Malaysia, but globally in all 21 countries that we are in. And when we look at the Lotus business overview in Malaysia, okay, we are actually a leading food provider with a presence in home and household needs, serving millions of Malaysians every day. Okay, we have our stores, as most of you would know us. Previously, we were known as Tesco, now Lotus. And we have also presence online, and not just in our own grocery home shopping online, but we are also present in Happy Fresh, Foodpanda, Lazada, and also Shopee. And we are actually one of the biggest player in grocery, I would say grocery online food retailing. Now, our value is actually a little delight every day. It's actually a very simple 5-word core value, a little delight every day. What we mean is that we are here to help our customers make smarter everyday choices by providing a wide variety of quality goods and services. And with smarter choices, you get bigger smiles. At Lotus, we are here to create a more delightful shopping experience. Now, the words are actually very important. And if you zoom into the words to look at here, helping our customers, quality goods and services, and delightful shopping experience. It's a combination of knowledge and experience, right, that we have in this industry to be at the forefront of helping customers make choices every day. Okay, and these choices has been vetted through by our quality team to ensure all the food is safe for consumption and of the highest quality standards that we can get. Right, and overall, our stores are designed so that the customer's journey can be a delightful shopping experience rather than trying to make grocery shopping a chore, basically. Right. Now, about us in Malaysia, Lotus Malaysia is actually 100% owned by the CP Group. And in Malaysia, we are the leading hypermarket with 62 stores and 3 distribution centers, not 2, 3 distribution centers. In overall, we employ around 9,000 colleagues nationwide, 57% of them men and 43% women, and 100% local. We are also the largest grocery online retailer with an average order of 57,000 per month. We have in our database 1.5 million active club card members, and we have more than 40,000 products in our stores covering fresh fruit, groceries, clothing, and general merchandise. Overall, we have 2,405 suppliers, and 13% of them are SMEs. And this is only suppliers of goods to be resold in Lotuss, excluding consumables and also our mall tenants. Currently, we are the #1 hypermarket seller on Lazada, Shopee, Happy Fresh, and Foodpanda. And definitely, for obvious reason, we are also available in all these 4 channels. For the last few years, we have tried to innovate our business by introducing more technology in our stores for the convenience of our shoppers and to improve their experience in Lotuss. And therefore, we have introduced 100% cashless self-service checkout counters, scan and shop, and we accept payment from 6 different e-wallets as well. Now, I'm sure many of you have been to our stores and seen our products, right? We serve high quality food and non-food products, including frozen food, seasoning, and everyday household goods. All these products have been developed locally in-house, right? And have been, tested with quality and also on taste by a massive panel of consumers before we even launch. So we are quite certain that most of these products, if not all of these products, will pass most of our consumers' taste buds. Now, CP itself have got 6 core values. The first one is what we call the 3 benefit, whereby we have to benefit the country we operate. Secondly, we have to benefit the communities we engage. And finally, is for the company and its people. Secondly, speed with quality. We need to respond with speed while maintaining the very highest quality in all aspects of our operation. Simplification is to ensuring that we are working our focus and streamline. Accept change. In our industry, it's never constant. Change is the only constant that we have. And therefore, as a business, we need to remain agile in order to readily cope with changing circumstances across our market. We need to innovate. Creativity is a driving force that advances every level of the business, from methods of processes, products, and also services. And finally, we need to act with integrity. We need to operate the business with integrity, applies it to every action we take, whether large or small. Now, when we look at it, and that part was the CP values, and we go into the Lotuss value. Now, I keep mentioning Lotuss, and I'm sure that many of you would have called us Lotusses, right? If you look at the logo in detail, there's no apostrophe. You will notice that it's actually a drop pin, similar to the Google drop pin. Okay. This signifies that we want to be the center and destination for the community. And the final S actually represents for our SMART values. What I'm going to present here. Our SMART values represents the way we work as an organization and the way we want to work with our partners in delighting our customers. S represents for simple. We strive to simplify our customer and partners experience. Working with Lotuss shouldn't be difficult. Shopping with Lotuss should not be difficult. So we try to simplify the entire journey for both our customers and also our business partners. And for motivated, we are delighted to work with our partners to be one step ahead of our customers' needs and wants. We need to maintain agility in our business to stay competitive and ahead of the game. We're constantly collaborating with partners to adapt to changing needs and trends. We need to be responsible. Ethics and professionalism at the heart of everything we do. This is how we keep our collaborations and processes fair and honest. And finally, we have to be transformative. Innovation is key in our partnership to help our customers enjoy better lives. Now, getting to know us a little bit more, okay. Our makeup is actually consists of 3 setups: in the office, in the stores, and in distribution. I think most of you would know us from the stores. You know, you go in, you shop, that's the store. However, there's a massive office that we have, right, with 600 people in the head office. Servicing the back end needs to ensure the stores can operate successfully and for everything to be on the shelf on time in full. Now, we have multiple departments in the office. Product department is the department that handles all the buying, selling, quality testing, and planning for every single item in the store. Okay. Channels are the department that operates the store and our online business as well. It involves the business support, safety, security, resilience, DC operation, supply chain, change and transformation, and IT as well. We also have a department on property. So we don't only operate the store, we actually get involved in property acquisition, site research, construction of the building, design of the building, and operating our malls as well. The department called customer, in most places will be called marketing, right? Where they look at the customer insights, research, and the brand. Finance, for obvious reasons, we have central planning, commercial finance, finance operations, and controls and procurement. And finally, on people, like I mentioned, in some companies will be called human resource. We have business partners, recruitment, training, and operation. In our stores, the setup is a little bit simpler. We have customer service, we have the grocery department, fresh, general merchandise, apparel, and in some stores, online operation as well. And finally, when we talk about distribution, we have our ambient distribution, fresh and frozen. All 3 of it handles different temperature and require different solutions for the products. We have logistic management, vehicle management, and quality controls at the distribution level. Is there any question until now? Is there a way to pose question? No? Okay, I'll continue. Now, my career journey. I actually graduated from the University of Strathclyde in Glasgow with a BA in Business Admin and Marketing in 1997. All right. And I started my career as a management trainee in a major FMCG. Okay. While I was a management trainee, I actually took on a lot of additional projects between 1997 and 1998. In 1999, I completed the program and was assigned as a sales executive, right, in the company. Did that role for 2 years, and I was transferred to trade marketing right after that in 2001. In 2002, just a year after that, I was reassigned back to sales. And by 2004, I took on the role for key account manager. And within all that, in a single company, right, in a major FMCG, I was there for literally 8 years. In 2005, I joined Tesco as a division manager. And in 2006, I was promoted to become the trading director role, right? I was there for about 9 years before I took on a new challenge as the multi-channel director, managing all our online business and opening the accounts with Lazada and Shopee. In 2015, a year after that, I moved on to the commercial director role for hardline and multi-channel. 2016, I was promoted to become the product director in Tesco, and 2021, just this year, I've moved on to become the president for Lotus Malaysia. Okay, it's quite straightforward. Basically two company in my entire career, but many multiple different roles. Now, when I look back into my career, this is my career path. All right. In all companies that you're looking at or going to join in the future, there's literally 8 roles in between, starting from executive and ending up with probably the CEO or president. And in between there, you will go on to become the junior manager, middle manager, senior manager, the junior director, middle director, senior director, before you become a CEO or president. Now, for me, and this is part of the career advice, career is not a race, okay? And most people think that the finishing line is actually to become the CEO or the president. Actually, that's not true. At the end of the day, the finishing line is the retirement day. Everybody gets there at the finishing line, okay? Now, the biggest thing about getting to the finishing line is not about getting there first. It's about getting there stronger, okay? Now, if I look back into my career path that I just mentioned earlier, all right, I was an executive for many, many years. And suddenly, in a short time frame, I got promoted to become the junior manager, and the following year to the middle manager, and the following year to a junior director. Okay, and once I reached the junior director role, I was stuck there for a very long time, about 9 years. And I was promoted then after to become a middle level director, and very soon after that to a senior director level. And then stay there for another 5 years, 6 years, before I move on to become president. Now, the learning for me over here is that if you stay on a certain level for quite some time, you gain a lot of knowledge, right? And you apply the knowledge into your work. And people will see the value that you're creating and appreciate the value, and they promote you to the next level for obvious reason, right? Now, the biggest challenge and the biggest hurdle is that if you get promoted too fast, when that happens, that you get promoted probably 2 steps ahead, 3 steps ahead, all right, what will happen then is you're going to be stagnant over there in that role for a very long time. The reason is that the skills and knowledge that you gained in the past, right, would not be substantial enough for the role that you're doing today if you jump too fast. And therefore, you need time to gain more skills, gain more knowledge, gain more experience, and start to contribute again before your next jump, and the next jump, and the next jump. And for me, you can see the plateau is actually in 3 areas. When I was an executive, the sudden jump, I was stuck as the junior director for quite a long time. And finally, at the senior director level before the next stage. Okay. Now, and further on, the advice is success is not free. If any of you think that success can be very easily obtained, it is not true. Right? And it's not about jumping from one company into another. It's not about getting the 300 ringgit more salary. It's not about that. Okay. Success requires time and dedication. It requires grit, determination, and hard work. Yeah. And there's no such thing as a guaranteed success. You can be very hardworking, determined, yeah, and very resilient, but there's no guarantee. And you have to just keep going on and on about it. And do not stop learning, even if you think it might not be useful today. Okay, don't stop learning. It will be useful one day when the circumstances are right. Right? Finally, loyalty matters. High performers are valued. Okay, loyal high performers are valued. But do understand, you are not the only one. So, yeah, and it's not a competition between yourself and another person in any organization. Right? Everybody has its roles, everybody has its place. And if you're loyal and you're a high performer, it's a function of time before it will be recognized and you'll be rewarded. And in my case, in my whole 20 over years career, I've only been with 2 companies. Okay. And finally, just a quote by Dwayne The Rock Johnson, right? Success isn't always about greatness. It is about consistency. Consistent hard work will lead to success, and greatness will come. Right? This is the most important thing as well. People always think success is about greatness. It is actually not. It is not. And it's not about the short-term hard work that you put in. It's not for that 1 year of hard work you put in. It's not that for the 2 years. In my case, right, it is for the last 20 over years. And I can honestly tell you, for the first 15 years of my career, I've not gone home before 9 p.m. And it's just constantly hard work every single day, right, for 15 years for me. And consistent hard work will always lead to success. And with that, greatness will come. Okay. And with that session, I would like to open it up for Q&A.
Hi again, Mr. Kenneth. Thanks so much for sharing. And I think I really think that, you had wise words, especially the whole career is not a race, and the commitment that needs to be put in and the loyalty that comes with it. I think those are really good advice for the generation now. So while you were actually going through your slides, there were a lot of questions. I will help to ask them along. So each of you, if you have more questions that you want to drop in, please just keep putting it in. Hopefully we can get Mr. Kenneth to answer them. So the first one was actually a question from Zamzuri. He's a graduate from the UM. His question is with regards to business growth. What makes Lotuss significant or unique compared to its competitors?
I think every business has its uniqueness, and it's not just Lotuss, right? I think the core is, what does the brand represent? For us in Lotuss, we believe in customers, customers' experience, customer expectation, and how we want to deliver that. And the core tagline of our core values, which is a delightful shopping experience, that is the core for us. How do we make that real for our customers? How do we make that alive? And that's throughout the whole chain, right? It's not just about people pushing the trolley and they're happy. Small little things actually makes the difference. Even the clean floor. A clean floor is important, right? The trolley, they actually move straight. You'll be surprised. I'm not joking.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, it's a big thing for people. The trolley actually moves straight. A clean toilet. Actually, it's a small thing that delight the customers all the way. Obviously, you need the hygiene factors. Your product must be right, the quality must be good, and the prices must be affordable. That's the basic hygiene for our business, right? But everything else, the detail matters. That's why we always say retail is detail. If you miss the detail and if you think that detail is not important, then retail is not aligned for you.
Thank you. There's someone who actually asked, what were the challenges that Lotuss Malaysia encountered, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic, and how did you overcome it? Because I know for me, Lotuss was a lifesaver for me during the pandemic, because I was able to buy it online, and I could get all my groceries delivered on time. And I have to say the delivery personnel, that the Lotuss men who actually send the items, they're all so helpful. They even deliver on Hari Raya, as in the commitment and everything is. I'm sure there was a lot of influx of people coming to you. Is that one of the challenges?
I think there's many challenges, right, during the whole pandemic for the last 1.5 years or slightly more, right? I think first of all, limitation of customer movement, right? In the past, people used to go to their offices in a big way, and on the way back, they drop by in shops like ours, Lotuss, and do their shopping. And we only have 62 stores across the entire Peninsular Malaysia, right? So it's not a lot of stores. So when movement stops, customers within the catchment, the small catchment, right, start to dwindle down. Right. So we only have probably customers within the 3-kilometer radius at best. So the biggest challenge is people movement. However, we are quite blessed because we have a strong online presence, like you mentioned, through our home shopping. We have dedicated trucks that can deliver products with 3 different temperatures for our customers. So if you want to order veggie, it's all maintained in chill. You want to buy a yogurt, it's possible. You want to buy ice cream, it's even possible. And most of the time, we even joke that the ice cream delivered to your home by us is better than the one you pick in the stores and put it in your car because it starts melting. Right. So we were quite fortunate that we started our online business early, and we started it strong. And with our presence in Lazada and Shopee, we also enhanced our overall brand presence online as well. Our partnership with Happy Fresh and Foodpanda has been very fruitful. Even pre-pandemic, we were doing well with them. And during the pandemic, they really step up in their game and literally send a lot of goods to our customers. You're on mute.
I'm on mute. Yes, sorry. Okay. I actually have a question with regards to the rebranding process. From Tesco going to Lotus. What were the major challenges during the rebranding process, from the locally familiarized Tesco to Lotus, and what were the steps and strategies that the team did to ease the transition for stakeholders?
I think if you look at transition for branding purposes, there's actually 2 steps to it, right? The first one is the physical transition, where we physically change the brand. In most of our stores, right, I think in KL Klang Valley, we have all changed to Lotus already. We are still having about 20 over stores nationwide that requires changing, and that should be done by the first quarter for next year. So the physical change of the branding, the physical transition of the brand is not very difficult. It's quite simple. We just slap on the Lotus words, the colors, schemes, change some of the things inside with a more customer Lotus experience, right? And voila, we can get that done. Now, even our products used to be Tesco branded products, now shift to Lotus brand products. I think the biggest challenge is actually consumer mindset.
Yes.
Even though I have Lotus at the front door, 10 out of 10 customers will still say that they are going to Tesco.
Yeah, true.
Right. And to be fair, because Tesco has been around in Malaysia for about 20 years, right? It's not an overnight thing. But I think through time, we will stress on our commitment to the people in Malaysia, to Malaysians, providing jobs for Malaysians, focusing on building SMEs in Malaysia, be part of the community a lot more, and be very strong with our sustainability programs, like for example, reducing plastic use and introducing recyclable plastics in all the products that we do, right? Adopting local schools, right? Helping schools, needing schools, right? To boost their capabilities and things. With all these programs, we intend to cultivate the brand into customers from young, and at the same point of time, build our brand within the community to a point that is much stronger than the previous Tesco brand.
I see. Okay, you mentioned about jobs and opportunities. So we have a question here from Safia Azhar, who's actually asking about your opinion on fresh graduates job hopping for faster career advancements. I mean, that's what they believe. Is that true? Do you believe in that principle as well?
I think for most fresh grad, for the first 5 years of your career, what you will see is that there's quite a lot of fresh grad that comes into a company, do a couple of years, and then start jumping around. All right. Yes, for a short-term basis, you will get a higher salary, you will get a better title. But I think if you look back, you think about things, no company is paying you, right, for, how I say, because you have a bigger title by then, right? And once you get a higher title, right, if you jump again, it's not just keep going upwards in the titles or in the levels. The core is, what is it that you have to offer those companies, and that part of it can only be obtained by knowledge and experience. how long you've been in a role, how long have you been doing a job, how well can you contribute back in the role. And like I say, it's about consistency. We can get people to perform really great for 6 months, for a year. Can you do it for 5? Can you do it for 10? And it is that part that makes you successful. And like for example, I was showing you my career path. Right?
Yeah.
It was stagnant for a long time. In that time, I've gained knowledge, I've gained experience in the job that I'm doing. To a point at the end of it, I'm contributing more than what everyone else could contribute. And therefore, the management see my potential and promote me. All right. Now, at that level, you need to perform a few more years to gain knowledge and you gain experience before you go up the next level and the next. Obviously, in my career that I've shown, there are a few instances that it jumped quite massively, like 2-3 steps ahead. And to be fair, I'm penalized after that. I got stuck for 9 years in one role, one level. And it is how it works. Because once you get there too early, what happens is you are now a negative value. Right? Your knowledge and experience is insufficient for you to do the roles.
Yeah.
And you get stuck. You get stuck for a long time, to a point that you start contributing again. And you start to have knowledge and experience beyond that job scope and more than capable for the next role. Right? And this is the thing I tell a lot of the fresh grads that join Lotus. Remember that you don't get promoted because you do great at your current job. That's not the point. You get promoted because we believe you can do great in the next role. Right? So don't mistaken job jumping and having a big title and slightly bigger salary as a career path. It's not actually. It's your ability to learn, your knowledge and your experience that will build your career path. Because a career path, you're talking about 40 years. You just freshly graduated, probably 21, 22 to 25. You're going to retire at 60. So calm down. Right? Calm down, because you have 35 years to go.
Yeah.
If you become a CEO by 30, right? By 30 years old, you become the CEO. Right? What are you going to do for the next 30 years?
Yeah.
So the key is calm down, okay, and enjoy the journey to a certain extent, okay. And the most important thing is don't stop learning, because that's the only path to success.
Yeah, true. And you need the stamina, like you said, to go on for the next few years, right? So someone was actually asking about, your personal journey, and do you mind sharing with us your greatest challenge that you actually faced in your career, and how did you then, overcome it?
Well, in everybody's career, the biggest challenge in anybody's career, I believe, is the bosses that you will have. Right. Now, in my entire journey, I've been with only two companies. But within there, I have at least 10 to 12 different bosses.
Yeah.
All right. Now, there will be bosses that are good. Yeah. And there will be some bosses that are great even. But there will be some that will make your life miserable. Now, it is quite common and it's normal through like for me, the entire 12 bosses I have, there will definitely be some that are good, bad, and ugly. Okay. The biggest challenge is that how do you persevere through time with that? Knowing that you will only report to the person for 2 years, 3 years before the next boss will come. Right? How do you be resilient against all the challenges that might come? Because if you can manage through difficult bosses, difficult people in life, there's literally nothing else that can stop you. But if you give up just because it's difficult, then the other challenges that come in life is going to be more difficult.
Thank you, Mr. Kenneth. So we've also started to receive questions about, the working culture in Lotus. How is it, especially after the whole transition from Tesco to Lotus, has the culture changed? Does the company focus more on, hustling, or is it more of a work-life balance sort of environment? Or maybe you can share a little bit more about that.
I think that depends on individual, how you want to pursue your work and how you want to pursue your career. Right. I always tell people 9 to 5 is only available for you to do your job. Right. It's purely for you to do your role, your job. Right. The question is between after 5, what are you going to do? If you want a work-life balance, and that's perfectly fair for anybody that chooses that route, right? After 5, I want to go back home. I want to play badminton. I want to spend time with my family. I want to spend time with my friends. That's a perfectly acceptable choice. Like I said before in the first one, success, right, is not free, right? What are you willing to give up? Like I mentioned, for the first 15 years of my career, I gave up a lot of things. Okay, I gave up on many of my friends. I actually literally have one friend left from secondary school, right? Only one friend left. Okay, but what are you willing to give up? If you're not willing to give up anything, okay, then it's very difficult success will come. Because why I say it's not free, why you have to give up things is because the time spent after 5 is for you to gain knowledge, for you to learn things in the organization. The 9 to 5 is for you to do your job. After 5, that's where you start learning. You start analyzing data. You start analyzing customers. You start looking at things differently, and you start learning from other people, right? Their experience, their knowledge, and from there, you gain knowledge as well. So, like I was saying earlier, it all depends on your personal choice, right? How far you want to go, and how far work-life balance would be. And for me, I don't think there's a thing called work-life balance.
Yeah.
Right. Work and life is one thing. Your life has work in it. How you manage your life, right, and how you manage work, it's all in your hands.
Yeah, I think that's true. And it's also an individual's personal choice about how they actually balance it out.
Correct.
And there's no right or wrong. It really depends on what you want. And I think my advice for young graduates right now is, as you're working, you discover new things about yourself, which will help you then carve your path. And like you said, take it slow but steady. Keep going, and I'm sure that's where success will come. Someone is actually asking Lashvini actually about what gets you excited about Lotus's future, Mr. Kenneth, now that you're leading it.
Well, for me, right, it's the opportunity in Malaysia that gets me excited. I look at Malaysia as a place where the opportunity for this business is abundant, right? And even if I look at retail alone, right, I've only got 62 stores, only 62, and I'm already the number 1 hypermarket in Malaysia, right, with the highest market share. Now that's only 62 stores. I look at the next 5 years, my challenge is how do I double the number of stores? And in 10 years, how do I quadruple the number of stores to reach 250 stores? Right. Now, even 250 stores, I still don't think it's saturated yet. I still think there's a lot of opportunity. And that gets me excited every day. And from that opportunity comes another piece of question every single day. How do I deliver customer expectation? How do I exceed their expectation? Right? How do I deliver more to customers and improve their experience in our stores? Right? Now, all these things is why I love to be here for the last almost 16, 17 years, right? And that gets me up every single day.
I think that's really important, to actually get excited about going to work and have that vision and to drive it together with a team, and it's always important to find that in each person's career. So there's someone who's actually asking about, this is back to, Lotus and how you actually run the business now. Seeing the current market, and how does Lotus capture its current customers as well as expand to new customers when there are so many more independent convenience stores nowadays just popping up? How are you navigating through this?
Well, I think that's the million-dollar question for every retailer right now, right? How do you gain more customers? And it's a very competitive landscape out there. I think for us, we have to keep our focus to the customers' expectation, right? Constantly improve their experience, right? And making our products very affordable on every single day for our customers, keeping our veggie fresh, right? And delivering what customer wants out of us, right? With that, what we hope is that what we do can retain our customers on a daily basis. And what we do out there to recruit more customers is through our loyalty programs, is through our communication programs, right? Using insights and data, and we have a lot of data, right? To reach out to more people, to try to convince them that we are the best place for them. And when they come in and they experience what we have to offer, and we retain them. And it's that cycle on a daily basis. And of course, from what I mentioned earlier, we have to be part of the community as well. We cannot be, when 30 years ago, when 40 years ago, when hypermarket first come to Malaysia, we are just a building and we expect opening a building and everybody comes to us.
Yeah.
Today, it doesn't work that way. We have to be the community center. We have to be the neighborhood store. When people come to us, we greet them. Yeah, we say hello. If possible, I want to know everybody's name. Personalization is key, right, in the future of retail. And how do we reach out there for the community? There's a lot of ways, right? But every single store will be quite different. Okay, so we want to become the community center for the community that we serve.
I think that you're doing a pretty good job on that actually, because I've always seen Lotus as a place where families go to buy groceries, and it supports the community in Malaysia. And we actually have a question here that asks you, I know what we asked you, what excites you about Lotus, but right now I think everyone wants to know, like, what's your favorite part about working with in the retail industry? And also, it sounds like you've actually had a very strong career in that industry. I mean, from day one, it's always been in the sort of FMCG retail field. Do you like that sort of vibe, or yeah?
My first job, right, is not actually in retail. It's in FMCG, so it's a supplier base, right? It's Malaysia's #1 food supplier, right? A company that almost every graduate wants to join, right? So I was there for 8-9 years, and I moved to retail after that. The exciting part about retail is there's never been 2 weeks being the same. Every week is different. Every day is different. And the opportunity for you to explore new things is up to you. It's in your hands, right? So if you want to try out this promotional mechanics, you can. You want to try out this pricing strategy, you can. You want to try out anything in retail, you can do it, right? Whereas in my previous life in a supplier, I could not. I got to convince a retailer to do something. Yeah, but now in a retailer, you can do a lot of things. Okay, that is one of the parts that excite me on why retail. Yeah, if you're the person that like dynamic environment, that potentially can change, but don't expect the environment to change because of you. You have to be the change agent as well, right? It doesn't change automatically. So if you like those challenges, then retail is actually very interesting. It's fun. But if you like something very process driven, very stagnant, every day is the same thing, consistency, then retail might be a little bit challenging for you. All right. And what I like about Lotus, I cannot say this for all retail. Back to the question. What I like about Lotus is that I think for most graduates, you will not experience it yet. But for those that have been in the workforce for at least 1 or 2 years, you will know this. I like Lotus for one main reason: there's no politics, there's no company politics, right? Everybody here, yeah, there's a little bit squabble here and there, yeah, and that's very normal. But there's no politics. There's no one person favored by the next person. Yeah, the bosses love this guy and then everything is okay. There's no such thing. The focus has always been to the customer, right? If the customer wants this, right, customer wants it. That's it. Full stop. There's no two ways about it. And this is why I love about Lotus, and why I could stay here for so long, not in the other one.
Yeah. I think that's a lot of people underestimate politics, as in like, especially for fresh graduates, because you don't know how big it can actually affect your life. So Mr. Kenneth, I think the audience are saying that you sound really inspired, and like, is there someone that you look up to? Who's your inspiration? Probably someone that, like a mentor that you look up to throughout your career journey.
Well, for me, I don't look at one person per se, the one person, this is the guy I follow. There's a lot of my previous bosses, some of it, I look at them in terms of something specific that they are great at, right? And I actually admire that part of them, right? It's not a person as a whole. So for example, I used to have a boss that can look at an A3 paper, a massive size of paper, big piece of paper with font size 10 numbers all into it, right? And these are numbers throughout the entire country, small little numbers everywhere. He had the ability to visualize everything that happens in the country just by reading that piece of paper, right? And the ability to visualize numbers into something visual, right, is for me is quite astonishing, and I try to learn from him in that, right? And the other part of it is the ability to do presentation, although mine is quite 50-50, yeah, lebih kurang saja. But I look up to some great speakers, right, that can really present well. Steve Jobs can present really well, right? Yeah. There's other names that I won't even mention for sensitivity purpose. But there are some people out there that when you look at them on that specific thing and you admire them for that one thing, right? Learn from them, right? Learn as much as you can. Right? Even though you don't reach 100%, you reach 50%, you'll still be 50% more than what you have today.
True. It's good, like what you said, you pick the characteristics of each individual that you like and you personalize it to yourself, because then it will help shape the person you are as well, and you now have the right characteristics, but you're still true to yourself. Because I think some people might want to follow someone else or encapsulate someone else that they get lost halfway.
No, don't ever do that. Don't ever do that, because at the end of the day, you are who you are.
True.
Don't lose the essence of who you are. Improve who you are through the things that you admire. Right? Just improve yourself, but don't lose the essence of who you are. I have some values that is just me, and for me, I've got that from my entire journey of my career. Yeah. And that shapes me to who I am, and it will never be gone.
Yeah. I mean, like when you interview someone and you hire that person, it's because you see the potential of the growth within that individual. And so it's unfortunate if at the end of the day, they then decide to, get lost or something like that. So Mr. Kenneth, we have quite a serious question here. How do you manage stakeholder expectations professionally and also achieve it, despite everything that's happening as well?
Wow. That's actually one of the most interesting questions.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm sure the person have been in the working field for quite some time.
Perhaps.
Stakeholder management. Rule number one on stakeholder management is encourage collaboration. Right. You have to encourage collaboration. In many instances, in managing stakeholders, everybody wants their voice to be heard, but nobody wants to listen. Oh, that's very common, right? That's very common.
True.
Yeah. So I think the first step in any stakeholder management is starts with listening, and from there you start to collaborate. When you start to collaborate, you build trust, and it's only from trust that you can manage stakeholder. Because if I don't trust you, whatever I say, you will never believe me.
Yeah.
But once the trust is built, then stakeholder management will be a lot simpler.
and more, like you said, more straightforward, and that's how the company builds itself, right? Okay, we have another question here. 1 minute. This candidate would like to know, in your opinion, what are the set of skills, for graduates to enter or get hired by Lotus? So you see, now you've actually got a lot of interest from the graduates, and they would like to know, how do they now get a place in your organization?
Well, for me, when I interview graduates, in the past, my previous role, every single graduates that come into this business, I interview them. All right, I interview most of the graduates. I think there's a few things that I look into graduate. I look at sincerity of the graduates. Right? When I ask, I don't ask the typical question like, what's your ambition in the next 5 years? All those other things are, that will shape through time. I'm more interested in who you are individually. Okay, what do you do on your free time? Do you have a hobby? Okay, how passionate are you on your hobby? And how much can you tell me about your hobbies? Yeah, what do you do with your friends? Okay, all these things shapes you as a person, and I'm interested to know what shapes you as a person. And from there, I gauge how passionate are you towards anything, any subject. As a graduate, right, I need to gauge you on any subject, not work. Because on work, you can say you want to be the next CEO, and fair enough, you might be the next CEO, but from the day you graduate, you're uncertain. Okay, you can be hardworking, okay, but you're just a fresh grad. Hardworking in a working environment, in my experience, is very different from hardworking in a college environment. It's totally different. So the question I will ask is about your own characteristic, your own behavior. And from there, I gauge whether would you be suitable for the industry. Is, like I mentioned again, retail is detail. And there's a lot of passion involved. Okay. So if you might be suitable for another different industry, yeah, but maybe not retail, but I'm looking for people that's suitable for retail. Right. So specifically on the skill set, I would say there's none. Okay, as long as you pass your papers, they'll be fine.
Yeah.
And trust me, I barely just passed most of my papers in universities, but I think most of the things I learned through the way. And if you ever think that, whatever you learn in university, you can actually let go of it the moment you start work, don't ever believe that. It's not true. Right? The higher you go, the more basic you go back in terms of what you studied.
It's the values that go with you and the thinking skills, and it's those things that will help you grow through your career.
The theories that you learn in universities are not going to be applied as a sales executive. Trust me, you're not going to apply it there. You'll be applying it when you're in middle director level, senior director level. If any of you still remember your management, you got to Hawthorne theories, Maslow hierarchy, right? If you still remember all those things. When you reach a director level, when you manage people, hundreds of people, right? Then you look at productivity based on environment, Hawthorne theories. You look at people's need, Maslow, right? And you look at so many other more theories that being taught to you 20 years ago, now suddenly you figure out that it's important.
Yeah, thank you. We actually have quite a fun question about your personality, and something, perhaps a passion that you wanted to be growing up. So basically, if you weren't in Lotus now, what was something that you wanted to be?
Well, for some strange reason, being in retail wasn't in my, when you're young, right? Apa cita-cita anda kan? I don't think we're ever gonna write that in.
Retail,
right?
Yeah.
Okay. But if you did ask me when I was in college, my ambition is actually to be in the first company that I was in.
Okay.
Right? Because of the established brand names and everything. Right. And the success I want to get out of it, it's probably I want to reach a director level. That's what I will summarize it as. at that point, I wouldn't say specifically which job scope, which industry, but I wouldn't have thought that I'll get into retail for sure.
And excel in it at that as well.
Yeah.
So that's what happens, in the career journey, because, one thing leads to another and people tend to succeed. We're just about to wrap up, but I know you gave some advice to graduates earlier, but perhaps could you just share one last advice, before we wrap up?
No, which one? I think the key one, if anybody needs to remember anything, is the quote by Dwayne Johnson.
Okay.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Right.
Yes.
Success is not about greatness. It's about consistency. Right. Consistently hard work will lead to success. Right. And it's not going to be, and finally, it's not a race, because the finishing line is retirement day. Okay. The finishing line is not when you become the CEO. Right. When you become the CEO or president or whichever job that you want to aspire to achieve, once you get there, that's not the finishing line, because you still got many years to go. What are you going to do after that? So the true finishing line is retirement day. And the quest is, don't get there first, get there stronger.
Okay, I think those are really, really wise words. You don't hear that often, because everyone's trying to tell graduates that you need, the strength to go, but then it's a long race. Something realistic is that, it's a long, long journey. And as you go, you want to be good at what you're doing. You don't want to get
Correct.
there, like, just jump. And then at the end of the day, your pals who have then paid their dues will then surpass you without you realizing, because you're actually so close in your path, right?
And you have to be aware, whatever you do is your own personal reputation, your own brand. Right.
Yes.
So if you damage your brand early by jumping too fast, too frequent, right? And you damage your brand because you cannot deliver, then that will follow you for a very, very long time.
True. Yeah, you wanted to end off with something else, Mr. Kenneth?
No, that's about it.
Okay.
Unless there's any question.
I think we're done already with all the questions. Thank you so much. It was a full hour. I think the questions were actually quite strong, and some personal, some about career, and a lot about Lotuss as well. I think for the rest of you who are actually interested in opportunities in Lotuss, there are a lot of job postings in guadan.com. Do check them out. Lotuss is here, and it's here to stay, with a lot of opportunities for you, with a very exciting culture. And I think the success of a company really depends on the person leading it as well, and the team behind him. But the vision that Mr. Kenneth has is definitely something to be part of. So I would really recommend and advise everyone to check out the job opportunities available in guadan.com and the Lotuss. And I wish you all the best of luck. So, Mr. Kenneth, thank you once again for being on this session.